Ms. Shaparo.
Here.
Ms. Garabay.
Here.
Mr. Hawk. Ms. Jacobs-Rohan.
Here.
Mr. Paris.
Here.
Mr. Pagoda.
Here.
Ms. Schutz.
Here.
Ms. Siri.
Here.
Ms. Wilton.
Here. And can we all stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
DeAndre.
Okay, so we'll start with the motion to approve the past meeting minutes. From the study session meeting, we have minutes for
I'll
April.
make that motion.
I'll second.
Garabay?
Let her do that.
Take a little context, Wendy. Or rock.
Let's
We're moving.
I love it.
Any discussions?
Good.
All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. I apologize, I needed to repeat who did what because I was told
Jacobs and Garabay.
preemptively.
Anyone opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, motion 2B, motion for approval of the treasurer's report is presented. General fund, athletic fund, food service fund, capital improvement fund, student activities fund, PA municipal real estate collections, there's no report. MBN delinquent real estate collections, Keystone collections, earned income, and local service tax collections, and general fund approval of bills, Fund 10, all for April 2025. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Schutz.
Series. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. All right. Welcome, everybody. This is the most people we've had in a meeting in a long time. So it's kind of nice. Welcome, students. Great time of year, very busy, but very fun stuff going on. So I hope everybody, parents and students and teachers can enjoy it, even though it's a little crazy, but really enjoy this last month of school. It's a fun time. I was able to go to the senior awards the other night, where some of you and many of you maybe got recognized and got some scholarship money. And I would say thank you to our community for financially supporting our students in their future endeavors. So I wanted to say that as well. So, but other than that, we will get moving with our meeting. Mr. Carter's going to talk to us first about the updating of the athletic student and coaches handbooks for presentation.
So there was just a couple of updates that I wanted to propose. Pretty simple changes. On page 3 of the athletic coaching handbook, I just wanted to add in that all coaches must be registered in the PIAA portal. And then I put in the website address for that. So it would be a way for our coaches to be in a directory. And then with the PIAA, they require some of these things that are on that page. So then they would be able to update all of their information on there. And then whenever they move from wherever they go, it stays with them. So if they go to another school, they would just have to affiliate with that school. But I wanted to add that on there. You want to just go through, and then if there's questions at the end? Sure. Okay. So page 4, there was just a typo. I just wanted to add participating at that time. For page 6, that there's a bad link on there right now. So for the concussion and the cardiac courses, I wanted to add in a couple other options because there are more than one option that you can choose. You don't have to use the NFHS. There are a couple of different options for both of the courses. So I wanted to add those in there and delete that link that's not good. Team rosters. So with us being a no-cut school, I wanted to add in that language that we were able to add a developmental team. So instead of cutting them, a coach would be able to give them 2 hours a week or 2 hours a week to development, geared towards development and skills building, so that they could be ready for the next year. So I think it's the best of both worlds, so that we're not cutting them, but they are getting better in the process. And in the language, depending on what I would like to talk to the coaches and see if they would travel with the team or not. But being that we are a no-cut policy, I wanted to include that in there as far as the developmental team. And lastly, on page 8, the new policy with scheduling the gym is a little bit different. They don't have to fill out a facility use request unless they need a custodian or chairs or something along those lines. So that's what I wanted to include in there. Otherwise, the coaches submit the information to me, and based off on availability, I then determine whether they get the time or not. So that is it for the coaching. Is there any questions as far as those updates or proposed changes, updates?
So for the scheduling then, is that just like at the beginning of the year, they say, I want to have practices on like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or something at this time, and you say yes or no, and then
Correct.
they don't need to submit anything else further unless there's something special?
Correct.
Okay.
So like at the beginning of the year, the coaches talk amongst each other, and then they'll say what days they want the gym and everything like that. If during the year they want gym time, they would then send me an email. We would check and make sure that it was available, and then I would approve it based off of all the other events that are on the calendar, on the master calendar.
Is that the same for like the fitness facility? Or-
Fitness facility right now, being that it's the first year, we do not have a set schedule. It's more of a shared space, so nobody can reserve it for themselves at this point.
But for team use, like how do they go about saying we're gonna be in there for this hour?
They
on
still
these
let me,
days?
yeah, they still let
just
me
request
know.
that?
Yeah, but they
Okay.
do not, they can't restrict, it can't just be one team.
Okay,
Yeah, we would have more than one team sharing space.
right. Like I know within a season, I think this past year, how they worked it, I believe was like the current season sport got priority, I guess, or something like that, right? Like with-
That's more gym time. That's more with the gym time.
Not
We
so much
haven't-
with the fitness
Yeah, with the
facility.
fitness center, we haven't run into any issues where there's been too many people in there or somebody needed it and they didn't, we've never run, it's big enough that they can all
Okay,
share at this point.
thanks.
Good thing.
Good with that? Okay, so the athletic student handbook. So this is really the page 2. Not to go through everything, but these are just changes in the class or the section that we're in now. So whether we went up in class or went down in class, that's all that is right there. So we no longer have boys tennis in the spring, so I'd like to delete that off of there. In softball, we are currently co-oping with Springdale. So, I mean, we can keep that on there, but it's no longer a Riverview sport. So that's why I have that deleted off of there. And page 4 for the banners, under the club sports and teams, when we co-op or we deal with a club, I typically provide just a letter or service pin. No banners in the gym, no plaques. That would be for the school of record to provide that, or the host school to do the banners and everything like that. But this past year, I did provide the Riverview art and also some the service pin. So here's a service pin. And last but not least, page 10, under reporting of injuries and student insurance. I just wanted to add in non-school related injury. That's all.
Did you mention the boys tennis? Was that marked out?
Boys tennis is deleted. We no longer have that in the spring.
Okay.
So
Not at all, or
not
is it
at
just
all.
because we don't have boys doing it?
Oh, we never had one this year.
Okay.
So I'm
I
not
know
sure
we've
what
had it
happened in the
in
past.
years past, so is it just something that because we don't have participants now that we don't have it? Or-
That's a great question, and I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if it's
It was moved to a club
I-
sport years ago, probably about within the last 10 years anyway. So it became a club and it was all club based
It was all
on
volunteer
interest.
coaches.
Yes, it was a volunteer coach, no payments,
Okay.
no salaries to attach to it.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with the girls tennis right now.
Yeah.
And we're kind of in a tough situation because we don't have a tennis coach for this year coming up. And to post it, being that it's a club, there's no compensation or anything like that. So I don't know if we're going to be able to, field a team. Obviously with no coach, we won't be able to. So I'm not sure what direction we need to go as far as that goes. Okay.
On page 4, where we have like the club
Yep.
indications,
Is it under the one we just
under
went over?
non-WIPIO PIA club sports teams. So we have like crew with Steel City, we have
Mhm.
hockey with Burl. Do we have to list like the other co-op teams that we have with Allegheny Valley then? Like
For hockey?
no, like we don't have the others listed, meaning like softball or wrestling, like because those are other co-op, right? Aren't those the other co-ops?
So those are
sports?
co-ops. Yeah, these ones right here are clubs. So I can
Oh, so
I
then should
can
that
put
be
those on
The
there.
co-op, should that be changed then to be club?
Yeah, that's not a co-op. That the boys ice hockey is actually it's a club team.
Okay, so just
Yeah.
maybe edit that
Mhm.
line, just so
Yeah.
just in case somebody look at it and then say, well, why aren't the other co-ops listed?
Absolutely.
Because that's not really a co-op, it's a rural thing that they let us join
Yeah.
in on, right?
So it's a pay to play, sort of like if you would have AAU
Yeah.
soccer, those
Yeah, yeah.
basketball.
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually a club like that.
Okay, so that's like a club team.
Yeah, and it just happens to be in Borough because the facility, the practice facility is in Borough.
Got it, okay, so we don't list any of our co-op teams then here.
Nah.
Okay.
I can.
I mean, I don't know if it's,
I mean, the co-op sports are official Riverview sports that our kids can.
doesn't hurt to have them
full access
listed,
to.
just so people might refer to this and say, well, I thought we had softball, or I thought we had wrestling, and it's like, well, we do, but they're co-op, they're
So
not.
wrestling is ours. So we are the school of record for wrestling. So Springdale comes to us.
Right,
Softball, we go to them. So they're the. But I would. So that's the
so wrestling should be listed then,
wrestling would be us.
yeah.
So wrestling is in the.
Oh, it's
in-
not under co-op,
Yeah,
It's under our sport.
it's under our sport.
I got it,
So I
okay,
would have to put softball under this one.
I see, okay,
Or under
yeah,
co-op.
depending on who's the host of the
Yeah,
co-op, I see,
mhm.
okay, got it.
So that's the only one that I would add on. It would be softball. I would add on to this because we're not the school of record.
Okay. Just so that everything's listed somewhere, just so that people don't wonder, like, where's that, or how does that get labeled?
Speaking of that, there was a parent that asked me to put a list of all the sports on the athletics page. So I'll have a one-sheeter and it'll have every sport that it'll have these club sports on there, it'll have the co-op sports.
Okay.
It'll have our regular sports and
That's
everything
good.
like that on there
Yeah.
as well.
Okay. That makes sense, yeah, just so everybody's aware of what we do and don't have and
Yeah.
how it runs, because I know that it's confusing sometimes with like the club
Absolutely.
and the co-op and,
Right.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Any questions? You good?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So does that mean I can leave?
That was a week.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, you should absolutely leave.
Unless you want to just hang out with us.
No, I don't. I love you all, but. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure there's something in the yard you can clean up.
All right. So we're going to move into our first hearing of citizens. This time is designated for agenda topics only. If you would like to speak, please sign in, come up to the microphone, which is by the owl here. State your name and address, and please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Please keep in mind that the board does not typically respond to public comment, but rather takes the hearing into consideration for future governance. Also, please realize that all comments and meetings are recorded. And I think because we do have a bigger crowd tonight, I don't know how many people will speak, but we should keep the comments to the 3 minutes, so we'll actually do a timer. There is a second hearing at the end of the meeting too, so if you don't get everything you want in, you can hop back into the second one. So, just so everybody gets a chance. So, is there anybody who would like to speak on agenda topics?
Hello, where should I stand?
Right there's perfect, right up here.
Okay, my name is Molly Morrissey. I'm a senior here at Riverview, and my statement is going to be on the situation of parking and student parking at Riverview. So today, when I came in for AP World, we have it earlier than the other students, whereas the doors for everyone else open at 7:20. Me and my fellow AP World students come in at 7 a.m. So we came in and found that there was a police regulation posted on the strip lot, which is right across there.
Where they're doing the trees.
Yeah, exactly, where they're tearing down the trees. So this, I was like, well, I don't know what to do. I always park in this spot. Where should I go? But we ended up having to go back outside, move our cars into the square lot, which is down by the softball field. However, I realized very early on that with how many student drivers we have at this school, that lot cannot hold all these students. It's not possible. Furthermore, every other school in the surrounding areas have designated parking lots for their students. And while this is a 2-day issue, it really does not seem that significant. It's representative of a greater issue of the lack of student parking at this school, where every other school is able to get a permit and pay their dues for this and have their own designated spot in which they park every day. We do not offer that in any aspect. Students are not permitted to park below by the band room, and we're not permitted to park in the teacher's parking lot on the side near the library either. So therefore, when issues such as this arise, students have nowhere to park. And this may not sound like that big of an issue. However, me and my classmates were 20 minutes late to our 40-minute class. We missed half of class time due to this issue. Furthermore, there's been 18-wheeler trucks parked there in the past that are making deliveries for surrounding businesses, but they've been parked there taking up 7 or 8 parking spots. Furthermore, the Oakmont Bakery constituents, as we know, often park in the student parking lot, in the strip lot, in the square lot, as sometimes the bakery's parking lots are not enough. While we know that the bakery is making another parking lot, this can still likely be an issue moving forward, as these lots are closer to the bakery than the new parking lot will be, and that is just the human nature to park where it's closest. So overall, I think that this is a reoccurring issue. However, today it was a lack of communication that definitely could have been prevented on both the police force that instated this and the administration, but it's just representative of a greater issue that could be easily solved. I think one great solution to this would be to open up the parking lots down by the band room, charge students $60 to $80 for maintenance fees. It would be on a first come, first served basis, prioritizing seniors, where these seniors would be able to sign up and pay their dues and choose a parking spot down there where they would have an assigned number, an assigned pass. For the rest of the juniors and other seniors who did not come, first serve, unfortunately, they would have to park in the strip lot. However, that would take away the significant amount of people needed to pack into such a limited amount of spaces. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Paula Tomlinson, 234 3rd Street. I was with some parents recently who mentioned, and this isn't anything urgent, but I want it to go on record, banners that we hang in the gym to celebrate. Some of these kids were on teams 2 and 3 years ago, and the banners still aren't up. And I wasn't aware of it because I don't have kids on teams that got banners. But I think our soccer team was semifinal in Whippeal, our lady soccer, semifinal Whippeal, semifinal state. I think our cross country could have multiple banners, or maybe a banner with additional years that should be added. And I'm sure our track team, how the boys will go, individuals. So I just said at the next meeting I will bring it up. Did they? So I just don't know what the timing is. I know the banners are ordered, and they might even be in the building.
The soccer ones, I believe, are in the building for
Yeah.
girls soccer,
Yeah.
but I don't know why it takes a year to hang them up.
Well, I know last year it was because they were painting, and they were painting and doing the new details.
Okay.
So I just thought if we could think about like prioritizing this, because some of these kids are graduating and they'll never see their banner.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Anyone else? Okay. We will move on here to finance. On here. So we have our first motion, 5A, motion to approve the following. Recommend approval and direct the advertisement of the Riverview School District proposed final general fund budget for the 2025-2026 school year with a total expenditures of $28,450,000 and total revenues of $28,335,000, which budget includes a millage increase of 0.5591, which is 2.23%, for a total of 25.5 mils. The proposed budget will be available for public inspection at the Riverview School District Central Office and will be available on the Riverview School District website at www.rsd.k12.pa.us. The public hearing of the budget will occur on June 16th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the 10th Street Elementary School Auditorium at 901 Pennsylvania Avenue, Oakmont, PA 15139. Citizens are invited to attend this hearing to make comments or ask questions about the proposed final budget. We need a motion first, right?
We'll make that motion together.
Any second?
Oh, sorry.
All right, any discussion?
So are we proposing to raise taxes 2.23%?
That's the increase that I included in this proposed final. But it's still a moving target, and we still
But we're in a deficit of 115,000 without the,
with that addition.
with that addition.
And to clarify, this is to post for 30 days before official vote,
Well, we have to,
or
for 20 days.
20 days,
For
whatever it
PE,
is,
yes.
until the next voting meeting, just
Yes.
in case we post. It's confusing sometimes that we're not voting on the official budget, we're voting to post it to the public for general scrutiny, and then in June, the official voting is the
Discuss
second
it
meeting in June.
On the second, and the 16th is the.
Yeah, 16th of June is the official voting.
What's the plan for the 115,000?
Well, looking for, the majority of our budget is contractual obligations. So, right now, we still have, honestly, a few more expenditures came in. our insurance went up $8,000 for cyber because it's getting so expensive.
Like how will we cover the?
How are we gonna
Cover the
go?
115.
The 115, I will propose a little bit more of an increase. The max increase for the index at 4.0 is less than 1 mil. It's 0.9976, I believe, off the top of my head.
Why didn't we just propose to cover it all?
I was hoping that we could find some deductions to make, but
Okay.
I'll sharpen my pencil and present again at the beginning of the month.
Okay. Thank you, Sheila.
So that 150,000 is with, we're still at deficit with the.
With
point
0.5591,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. And, you know, so the public knows too, we can take it up to 4, so our hope is not to have to go that high. And we're looking at a little bit more than 50%. So I'm on the finance committee. We did have our finance meeting on, last Wednesday, the 7th. So some of these things I asked and talked about during that meeting, but, I just wanted to kind of go through a few things just so that things are open, you know, people are understanding at least where I'm coming from when I think about the budget. I think, one of the main things that we always need to consider is our strategic plan. And this is basically the plan of what our goals are for the next 3 years. And our budget should reflect what our goals are in the strategic plan. So looking at the budget, you know, the first goal is a safe and secure educational environment. The state has mandated last year, but we had an exemption for a year, but they've mandated now that schools have at least one security guard, right? At least one. But the administration has did a review, an independent review of our schools and determined that we should have one security guard at the high school and then one that would rotate between the elementary schools. That's approximately a $200,000 increase to our budget. So, but that falls within our strategic plan. We want a safe environment for our kids. Part of safety too is just the maintenance of our facilities and the costs that go along with that. In the last year, we had a cybersecurity attack, we had a gas leak, and we had a huge power outage. So we have to be prepared for all those things as well. The second goal is academic excellence and individualized student growth, which to me, and our strategic plan too, is looking at modernizing our programs and updating our curriculums. And every year we have a rotation of curriculum updates. Updating a curriculum can cost between $100,000 and $200,000. So our math curriculum is $90,000, 80 or next in the 90. So just considering the cost of what we have to do in our schools as far as the academics too. We are at Riverview where we want to keep our cost sizes small, so we continue with that individualized student growth as much as possible. The academic excellence, is about providing professional development for our teachers, and providing, and according to the strategic plan, a rigorous, diverse, and engaging experiences for the kids' education. So, some of those things have a cost that goes with them. Goal 3 is a positive, supportive, and inclusive climate and culture. So we're looking at, the programs to provide mental and physical health resources for our kids, which includes professional development. You know, a couple of things that I'm proud of that we've provided for the kids is, you know, just the turf project, being able to do the turf project at the school, the elementary schools, to see the kids out there getting exercise and their recesses and able to actually be out there and not be in a mud pile is amazing. That, and also, you know, the weight room renovation that we did, expanded that so that all students can be using it. And we have students of all ages and who aren't even in athletics, you know, taking advantage of that. So our next goal is college and career readiness. So we want to maintain rigorous programs and have a wide variety of programs for our students, and support our tech students as well, so that they're getting what they need out of their education. And then finally, program innovation and fiscal responsibility. So, you know, this year we did master planning, which was a financial investment in doing that, but I think it gave us a lot of information about where we want our school to go. So, you know, and part of that too is also maintaining that we have the capital funds to modernize our facilities and our programs. Some people will say, you know, we'll just tighten up the budget, just cut from, you know, the paper and the pencils and whatever, the little things. But I went through the AP list that we get every week from the office. It's basically our checkbook register for the school district. And going through that, the things that I found that are actually within our control to cut are things like instrument repairs for the musical instruments, field trips, athletic uniforms, which are on a rotating basis, diploma covers, supplies, iPads, laptops, copier services, phones for our administrators, advertising, which is required, registration for events and things that our kids are involved in, track invitationals, Model UN things, library books, Naviance and other computer programs, postage, athletic trainer supplies. So those are the things that we can cut. And when you look at how much those things are, it's a few $100s here, it's a couple $100s there, and they're just, you know, when we have our healthcare costs go up $100,000 this year, to find $100,000 in those things that mean so much to the kids is hard. It's without cutting things short, I think, for the kids. So we have a very small part of our budget that can be worked with. Every year we have, you know, our pension and salaries go up as well. So, but I did also want to point out, you know, to the community ways that we have saved, and we do. I think our administrators and our business managers are always looking for ways to save money. When we lost our payroll person, we have now contracted that out to save some money. Dr. Turk is taking over communications. That's saving some money. We got an extra year on our transportation contract, which kept our costs the same when they'll probably be going up next year, but they're the same for another year. We had our kitchen that needs to be redone. We revamped that project because the cost was too high, so we stepped back and said, what can we do to bring this cost down? We changed banks to get more interest and fewer fees. We have updated contracts for our copier services, our insurance, our technology. We changed companies to help collect delinquent taxes, which has been helpful in bringing in some revenue. So we are working on ways. I want people to know we're working on ways to save whenever we can as well. So there's always the unknowns that Sheila has spoken about. the appeals that are coming in with the, it's CLR,
Common
level
level
ratio, which is the level that, we are, a new, buyer of a home is taxed at, which is much lower than it used to be, so the revenue that we get from, new purchases and appeals is kind of up in the air right now. Our costs are going up. The state funding this year was lower than it's ever been. We might get another 50,000 from the state this year, which is lower than we've experienced. And just the unknown of like the costs, you know, tariffs and on electronics, which we need to purchase, you know, that those are unknowns. We don't know where we are, so I want people to just have as much information about why we make the decisions we do. We have a very small amount of our budget that is not contracted that we can have any control over. And you know, I also so looking at it at this moment in time, what our budget looks like, but also the bigger picture and the future of Riverview is where I also have concern, knowing that our costs are always going up. You know, contracted costs are going up every year, that we want to make sure that we're not going to set ourselves up, you know, for a big cliff down the road, where we did about 10 years ago when we had to cut an art teacher, a music teacher, a nurse, and a counselor.
Well, and all of the rules around doing all of that are completely different than they were at that time as well.
What's that?
All of the rules and the state law around doing anything like that is completely different now than it was when that occurred. So we also have to meet other criteria for that even to be an option.
So how do we explain to those constituents that are like, hey, your fund balance is now 89, there's 8,955,000, when 4 years ago I was on the board and we were at 8 million, and we said, oh, this money is earmarked for such and such, and we're not gonna have that in 5 years, and all I've seen is this fund balance continue to grow. And so to me, you know, and maybe I'm just oversimplifying this, but I know somebody's gonna say, you keep saying you're gonna spend it, and this just keeps growing. You know, why couldn't we use 300,000 out of this? It keeps growing. We build interest off of 8 million. You know, so where's the money? When is this money not gonna be here? When is that earmarked money gonna be moved? Because 4 years ago it was, we're not gonna have this.
So we have 4 buckets in our fund balance. We have a non-spendable, which is our July health care. It's a prepaid expense. That's one bucket. That's about $260,000. We have committed, which is our capital projects. Portion of those funds will go towards the cafeteria renovation that's going to take place a year from now. We're gonna meet with DRAW and we're gonna start working on those bids. So we can have a definitive date and time for that work to happen. We also have an assigned fund balance, that's for legal and for PSERS expenses. And then we have an unassigned, which is our amount that we're able to keep of up to 8% of our budget, which is about $1.8 million. And that is our savings account. That's our go-to if something catastrophic should happen, if it's not a capital project.
So 1.8 million would be what we could draw from to raise tax, or to not raise taxes, but that is our savings, and then everything else is committed and already allocated.
Yes, but if you, because of CLR and because of Act 1, and having, last year was the highest of an Act 1 index that this district's ever seen, it was 5.3%. So taxes were able to be raised 5.3%, which this district historically over the last 15 years has maybe raised taxes 4 times and it's never been to the index. Regardless of that, if you let go even a little bit of an increase year after year, it's not just that dollar amount that's gone that year, it's that dollar amount that's gone for the rest of the existence of Riverview as long as Act One is in place. Am I? So if we raise taxes $500,000 and each mill in this district's worth approximately $800,000, in 10 years, that $400,000 is $4 million. So I have to give you the information so you're able to make educated decisions on how you want us to proceed forward with our budget.
Thank you.
And I say our budget because I put a lot of time and effort into this, and I try and increase revenues where I know we are getting more funds, like in our delinquent tax base, and earned income taxes up, whereas over COVID, it was kind of stagnant because people weren't working. So you couldn't assume that you could increase your earned income tax revenues by 2% because half of the country wasn't working, or they were working remotely. So I do my best to estimate, and in some cases guesstimates are used on what is the state going to increase. Part of that, you asked a little earlier, the $115,000. I did not put the increase of what our basic ed subsidy and our special ed subsidy is proposed in the governor's budget, but that increase is only $49,000. So it takes up a portion of the $115,000 if this increase sticks, but it doesn't make up the whole $115,000.
So yeah, and the other thing is we have some pretty big projects, in that strategic plan if you modernized. For instance, the specials wing at the high school, it's a multi-million-dollar project. We know we have floors at 10th Street, we have windows at Burner, we have the kitchen, it's another $1.5 million. So you're already pretty close to $3 million plus there. But you don't want to spend all of it, you want to have some in there in addition to the 8% so that you can keep that 5-year sort of renovation cycle going. But I mean, those, it's good questions as well. Just
Somebody's gonna ask you.
no, it's a great question. I mean, you have to sort of balance, having some money put aside that's healthy with, you don't want to put, like you said, you don't want to put too much aside where you're putting, more than you need to. In terms of our recommendation of the auditors, we think that we have a healthy reserve and fund balance, and it will allow us to do not everything. I mean, we're not going to be able to build a auditorium, which I would say that we need at some point, but we can't afford now. We don't have $8 million to do a project like
If I
that.
hit the $500 million lottery.
Yeah, I mean, if I hit the lottery, I'll buy one for the record. I'll buy one for Riverview.
The Stephanie
We'll
Auditorium.
make you your own balcony.
Taxes
The
on
Arrow Bay
business.
balcony.
A Neil English Center for Performing Arts.
But
Yeah, nice rings.
what Wendy was speaking to earlier, the common level ratio in Allegheny County years ago, when when someone purchased a house for $100,000, the common level ratio was around 86%. So a $100,000 home, the assessed value was $86,000. Common level ratio, if you've noticed in Allegheny County, there was a lawsuit, and now common level ratio is like 57%, so 52.7, I'm sorry. So a $100,000 home is now only assessed at $52,700. You multiply the 1,000 times the millage, and you see the difference. It could put a lot of districts under to where the fact that the Act 1 index would not allow them to make that money up in 20 years. So, thank you.
One more.
Just kidding. Just kidding. No. I think the thing is,
A motion by Mr. Pagoda and a second by.
Save my comments for James.
Before we go with the roll call, I did want to say the public hearing for the budget, I said was June 16th. It's June 2nd.
Open,
There's a study session on June 2nd.
yeah, on the board, I just let her know, the open budget discussion, open budget session is June 2nd. Another discussion, obviously, when you adopt the final budget, or you vote to adopt the final budget on June 16th. Second is an open budget session.
So does this paragraph need to be amended?
Yeah, we need to make, we should probably make a motion to.
I will put both of them in.
Does everybody, do we have to make a motion to just, it's the
June
open
16th.
budget session is June 2nd.
Add it.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have to do a motion? Should we do a motion?
It's not going to the actual, the motion itself is
No, yeah, it's
the amounts, that's
Right.
just informational.
It's just.
Yeah, you don't have to,
Do I need to change the information to have the correct date?
not by amending the motion. The
Just
motion
in
Right,
the-
and can I just change the date, is my question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ms. Wilton, are we ready for roll call vote?
Is everybody?
I just wanted to say one more thing. If you look at the estimated cyber charter costs for elementary and secondary alone, you know, Ms. Lupert has $320,000 estimated. Obviously, we hope it might be lower. But that alone, between elementary and secondary, is $640,000. That more than makes up our budget gap if we have some kind of action at the legislature on cyber charter, where we can like have a reasoned cost. No one, you know, no one's trying to put any toothpaste back in the tube. Like, but having a reasonable expectation of what that cost is going to be is not something so insane or wild that we can ask from our elected officials in the state.
And that was not included in the governor's budget, but
Right.
I am hopeful that it will become part of the negotiation process.
Well, any action at all whatsoever
Yeah.
to give us some relief on cyber charter costs is, you know, if no one has the political courage to do the right thing, then at least give us at the local level some kind of relief so that we don't have to look at that and just say, well, there's nothing we can do about it. We have no political power or legislative authority to do anything about those costs. That is not something we get to choose.
And that's money going to.
Third
Out of the
party.
district, third party, that's not anything
Yeah.
of our cyber program.
We don't have, and we have no control over how they do their programming or how they serve our students or anything at all. We just write a check and send it to them. And I'm not saying that that there aren't schools that don't do a good job, but we have no say. They tell us how much it costs and where to send the check, and that's the only thing,
There should be some sort of cap.
that's the only thing we can do,
And
is
she-
pay the
she-
bill.
Can you just give an idea, just so the community knows, like a general, like student cyber?
So, if we have a special ed student that decides to go to a cyber charter school or a brick and mortar charter school, the tuition that we pay is based on our expenditures here and the number of students we have. There are several deductions like maintenance and transportation and things like that they receive from us in addition to. But a special ed student tuition is over $25,000 per student. And a regular ed student, a non-special ed, is almost $20,000. And that increases every year as our expenditures do. So,
And the cyber charters do not have any responsibility to have the same financial reporting requirements
their
that
fund
we do.
balance is about probably 10 times the size of ours.
And we have to pass a budget before the state,
And we pass our budget before the governor.
so we don't know. It's like a unknown.
Why do we have to pass it before the governor?
Because that's how they wrote the law.
required to.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Well, and that budget's supposed to be passed before June 30th also. Several years ago, they did not pass the budget and we couldn't buy anything. I don't think it was passed until sometime in August.
Yeah.
Schools were having to get tax anticipation notes because they couldn't send out tax bills, they couldn't get their money, they couldn't do anything without the governor's budget being passed. Which is why I need money in the fund balance.
Miss Luber, before we go to a vote, sorry, I just wanted to ask, on slide 28 of your presentation from last week, it's, just to make it simple for everyone else, it's the, what does the millage rate increase mean for our taxpayers? If we could actually do like, maybe like a one handoff kind of sheet that we like normally would do every year during tax or during budget season, I think that will be helpful because then it shows, okay, if we raise the index to 2.5, that, you know, if you own a home that's worth $250,000, that increase is about $250. So just so that, I guess, taxpayers are aware.
Why don't I, we have that budget at a glance, we worked on it this week. We can maybe put that on the back of it, you know, like on like page 2, and have like a chart, we can add that.
Yeah, you're looking at like for every 100,000, it's $55.91 a year at the 2.23%. Or for 250, like you said, $140 a year, so, or roughly, for that same 2.23. So,
And
while it sounds like a huge amount, I'm not discrediting that, but like just to give a sense for what that means. You know, on an annual basis, it could be $55, it could be $150.
in addition, the homestead, farmstead funds came in significantly higher than they have in past years. So each homestead, farmstead will get an additional amount in their deduction on the real estate tax from the casino funds.
It's helpful.
With air quotes.
All right, anybody else?
Well, at least I can say I didn't pay for that.
All right, we good? Ready for a roll call?
Ms. Shapiro?
Yes.
Ms. Garabay? Yes. Mr. Hawk is still absent, correct?
Correct.
Wait, yes, he's still absent.
Ms. Jacobs Rohan?
Yes.
Mr. Pagoda?
Yes.
Ms. Schutz?
Yes.
Mr. Paris?
Yes.
Ms. Siri?
Yes.
Ms. Wilton?
Yes.
Okay, 8-0.
All right, moving on. Motion 5B to approve the following change orders and/or invoices in conjunction with the Riverview Capital Improvement Project. 1, capital expense stair tread removal and replacement proposals for the junior senior high school and Verner in the amount of $95,900. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion. Pagoda?
Second.
Any discussion?
We had 2 quotes on this, or 3? 3. And this was the lowest by like a lot, right?
This was the lowest by a couple thousand, and they are a CoStar's vendor, which is a state contract vendor.
Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? All right, ayes have it. Motion 5C, Part 1. Motion to approve the following contracts and agreements, subject to final review and approval of the solicitor. 1, Forbes Road Career and Technology Center, 2025-2026 proposed general operative and administrative budgets. 2, settlement and agreement release, retro to April 14th, 2025 for executive session. 3, contract with Precision HR Services, 2025-2026. 4, contracted services agreement with Wesley Family Services. A, extended school year agreement for student X, effective July 7th, 2025 through July 25th, 2025. And B, individual student enrollment for student X, effective March 4th, 2025 until the end of 2024-2025 school year. 5, contracted services between Riverview School District and Waterfront Learning for the 2025-2026 school year. 6, service agreements between Riverview School District and the Allegheny Intermediate Unit for the 2025-2026 school year. A, AIU Services Guide 2025-26. Guide outlines complete list of services offered by the AIU. B, AIU Special Education Pricing Guide for 25-26. One-page reference when considering the cost of special education services. 7, contracted services for the school doctor between Dr. Shergill and Riverview School District for the 2025-2026 school year. 8, 2025-2026 transportation service agreement addendum with Allegheny Transportation for 1 year. 9, contracted services agreement with Watson Institute for 5 students to attend the ESY program effective June 17, 2025 through July 7, 2025. 10, the collective bargaining agreement between the Riverview School District and the Riverview Educational Support Professionals Association for the term July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2030. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I need to interrupt, because I must not have done it last year, I don't know if it was correct or not. Forbes actually has to be a ballot, a roll call. So can I do that at the same time, just following after they do the motion on the first part? And then ask for the roll call?
Yeah,
I could move for roll call vote.
Well, I was banking on that one.
and I think Antonio needs 5 and 6 separated out. Because waterfront
Yes.
is, what's the word?
Oh, AIU.
Facilitated by AIU.
Just 6.
Just 6, okay. I thought waterfront was an AIU.
Sorry, Antonio, I thought I actually had pulled, I did the PSBA pulled out, but I forgot the AIU. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
No worries.
Let's do a motion and a second for Forbes.
Okay, tell me what I'm doing.
Antonio did a motion to pull out Forbes of the roll call though. He needs a second.
I'll second that.
So,
So then now I can do the roll call vote?
discussion.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Okay. Roll call vote for Forbes Road. Ms.
All
Chaparro?
those-
What?
wait, I have to do
All
the
those
vote
in
for the
favor
motion.
to have the roll call. Does it change? And then you know, yes, pull out, so he made the motion.
So I think that was a motion, to.
Pull out. Yeah, they'll vote on pulling out, but then, or not, we don't have to do that. Okay.
Roll call,
Let's do the
please.
roll call.
I can just do the roll call? Okay. Ms. Chaparro?
Yes.
Ms. Garabay?
Yes.
Ms. Jacobs-Rohan?
Yes.
Mr. Paris?
Yes.
Mr. Pagoda?
Yes.
Ms. Schutz?
Yes.
Ms. Siri?
Yes.
Ms. Wilton?
Yes.
Okay, and Mr. Hawk was absent.
And then we'll do I have a motion for numbers 2 through 10, but taking out number 6? Is that okay?
I'll make that motion.
Second? Good.
Okay. Any discussion on any of those things? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. Okay, and then, can I have a motion for number 6, please?
I'll make that motion, Chuck.
Siri second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I abstain.
Sorry about that, Chris.
Okay.
So we have to do 5C,
Yeah.
part 2 and 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 5C Part 2, motion to approve following contracts agreement, subject to final review and approval of the solicitor. 1, policy maintenance agreement with the Pennsylvania School Board Association for 25-26 school year. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion. But no-
Siri second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. And 5C, Part 3, motion to approve the following contracts agreements, subject to final review and approval of the solicitor. 1, Goodwill Summer EASI Early Adult Skills for Independence Program and Employability Skills Training Program at Goodwill for Student X. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion. Pagoda.
Siri second.
Any discussion?
Do I have to abstain? Student X is my student.
Yes.
Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I have to abstain.
And ayes have it. Motion passes. All right. Nothing for student life. All right. Education shoulds.
Motion to approve education items as presented. 7A is a motion to approve education as presented. 1, all 2025 graduation candidates for the award of a diploma is presented and pending high school principal final approval and fulfillment of all requirements. Number 2, Ken Kubistek to attend History Day State Finals competition in Washington, D.C., University of Maryland, June 9 through 12, 2025. Number 3, 2025-2026 Riverview Junior Senior High School Student Handbook with approved edits. And number 4, 2025-2026 Riverview Junior Senior High School Athletic Student and Coaches Handbook with approved edits. May I have a motion?
Second?
Any discussion?
Jacob's name is spelled wrong on the diploma.
We'll leave that.
Yeah, I didn't catch that one.
Okay.
His middle name, I don't know that it makes a difference, but it's his middle name.
Any further discussion?
We'll fix it.
Thank you to many of you who are on that list who are in the room this evening that would like to mention that. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes.
Okay. Is this board governance? That was already.
That was from last
Yeah,
week.
we did that last week.
All right, so personnel items. Okay, motion for approval of personnel items as presented. 1, the 2025-2026 REA supplemental positions as per attached detail, pending any certification and/or health requirements according to the RSD REA CBA. 2, unpaid leave according to board policy 339 for the following paraprofessionals. A, employee 9183 due to illness, 2 days, April 28th and April 29th, 2025. B, employee ID 8549 due to appointment, 1 day, May 29th, 2025. 3, the 2025-2026 non-contracted supplemental positions as per attached, pending any certification and/or health requirements. A, musical director, John Paul Bertucci. B, musical producer, Lori Slyban. C, music director and vocal coach, Mary Lynn Plaskowski. 4, resignation due to retirement.
Should that have an ID with it?
Should that have an employee ID?
Yep. I don't know the number off the top of my head, sorry.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Like, that's not happening.
Oh, Randy.
well, come on. I mean,
I'll give you. no,
if you
I'm
knew
kidding.
that, I would be like, I think Well, you need a vacation.
Yeah, well, it's probably on the previous one, so I can go back and look.
All right, 5, to accept the resignation as paraprofessional employee 8482, effective April 25th, 2025. 6, Rebecca Henry as a temporary professional employee, bachelor step 2, effective August 28th, 2025, according August 18th, 2025, according to the RSD REA CBA at 10th Street Elementary, grade 5. Placing position open from employee number 8408, retirement, pending any necessary clearance and health requirements. 7, change in status of a 5.5 paraprofessional to 3.0 paraprofessional for employee 10024. And 8, to employ up to 3 high school students for summer custodial employment, June 10th through August 7th, 2025, Monday through Thursday weekly. Do I have a motion?
Stephanie, so moved.
Toyota second.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. Ms. Henry is here. Congratulations. Okay.
Welcome.
Yeah. Okay. Athletics. 9B, motion for approval of personnel items is presented. 1, to accept the resignation of girls basketball coach Jill Catanzaro. And 2, to approve the 2025-2026 athletic event workers as attached, pending any clearance, certification, and/or health requirements. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Who gets it?
Thank you.
I wasn't quick enough.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. All right. This is the time for our, this needs to be changed. This is our second hearing of citizens, which is, can be about any school-related topics. If you'd like to speak, please sign in, come up to the microphone, state your name and address, and please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Keep in mind, the board does not typically respond to public comment, rather takes hearing into consideration for future governance. Please realize that all comments and meetings are recorded.
So what senior is that? Hi, my name's Dr. Cynthia Morton. I live on 1359 Mount Ave on Verona. And there was something in the newspaper, and it said that basically maybe expanding the area to inside Verona for more school students coming here to Riverview. I know Riverview has a very small class size. I participated here several years ago and teaching. I'm a teacher, researcher. I'm a professor right now. And so I know your class sizes are small. I know you only have 87 students that are graduating. And so as you're talking about financial needs, this would be actually an avenue for increase of revenue. But I know this has come up again and again from what I've heard. And I'm just really curious, would there be a person here that could be a point person so I could actually find out what has been explored? Does Riverview really want this to happen? What we need to do? Is there basically talking about a line drawing difference, or maybe having students come from Verona and bring over their funds that would normally be given to other districts to here to increase the revenue? So I'm not really sure what has been done here in the past, but I would really like to explore some avenues if it's receptive.
I think that's Penn Hills. That, we would love to take on more.
Yeah.
We would love it. I don't think we'll ever
But
get it
there's,
out.
as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, that the community members have to petition for that to occur, so it's not up to the districts whether it's Penn Hills or Riverview to like redraw lines, but
Yeah.
if the community were to want that, then I think there's a process for that to occur.
But I think there's also, you have to say Riverview does want this also, you know, because we could petition all we want and say, no, we don't want to, and that's not gonna happen. And is the lines the only way to do this, or are there other ways to do this also? And I'm wondering how much has been explored in the past.
So students,
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say that what the topic that came up was about allowing tuition students to come into the district.
different. That's
Kind of-
different.
Yeah, that's different. So, I think the person that you would wanna have a good conversation with is our superintendent, who has done some investigating into all of this, and,
Perfect.
we kinda, as a board, gone down the road of,
Rabbit hole?
it's not, like, the tuition is not, at this point, an option for us. But there's been, he did a lot of research on this topic,
Is
so
it
he'd be happy
possible?
to chat.
I'd love to talk.
Touch base with you after the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, so we'll be moving to our committee reports. Finance committee was basically our budget talk. We had a meeting on Wednesday. There are minutes to that meeting. And a video on the YouTube channel, of that meeting recorded if you would like to listen in on that, so. That's pretty much the update for finance. Education, Ms. Schutz?
Great. So from the three schools, the education update from 10th Street from Dr. Zulkowski. PSSA testing is complete. This was our first year administering the tests online. We are pleased to report the testing went very smoothly with no significant technical issues. Makeup testing is being completed this week. We appreciate flexibility and support. There was a PSSA video contest where for the second day with great success with 12 student-centered entries submitted. Winning team was 2 sixth graders who also won last year. They will enjoy a pizza lunch with Dr. Z. Videos were shared in the morning to show how to help build positive testing environments. Outdoor classroom initiative. The PTO continues to explore options for creating an outdoor classroom at the 10th Street campus. We've now received multiple bids from playground companies and we're reviewing proposals. Kindergarten orientation will be May 20th. We'll welcome incoming kindergarten students and families from 9 to 10:30. Orientation introduces students to the school environment and provide parents with helpful information to prepare. Spring iReady diagnostics. Students in K through 6 are currently completing final diagnostic assessments in reading and math. We're seeing strong growth across the board with many students showing significant gains from fall, winter to spring. At Verner, Dr. Favo's Enrichment and Gifted Kids attended the Kids' Choice Awards. The PSSA testing has been completed. UPMC came and did a tobacco prevention assembly for grades 1, 2, 5, and 6. Grades 5 and 6 went to 10th Street for a presentation by author Jonathan Oxier. Thank you to Mrs. Madden and mystery lovers. Second grade participated in a blended STEAM activity with O'Hara Elementary from Fox Chapel. One of our classes went to O'Hara, and one of their classes came to Berkeley. They all then went to the convention center for an activity, and the day was sponsored by Discover Ed. Third grade is nurturing eggs and anxiously awaiting for their chicks to hatch. And we'll also be visiting the aviary, so I get to get in a bird theme. To participate in presentations and activities on May 21st. Dr. Favo will be hosting a STEAM Fest for grades 3, 4, and 5 after school on the 22nd. Grade 2 will be visiting Round Hill Park on May 9th. Grades 5 and 6 will be visiting the Moonshot Museum on May 29th. Grade 6 will travel to 10th Street on May 29th for transition activities. Kindergarten screenings were May 8th and 9th, and final iReady assessments will be completed May 23rd. Fourth grade will be exploring the Toured Mines on June 2nd. Finally, the junior and senior high school, the scheduling school counselor finalized individual school schedules. The ELA PSSAs were April 23rd to 25th. Math and science were April 29th through May 6th. AP testing was 5-5 and will continue until 5-16. Keystone testing for Algebra 1, Bio, ELA 10 will run on a 2-hour delay tomorrow and Wednesday. Keystone testing for Algebra 1 will be the 20th to the 21st. Forbes graduation will be on Wednesday at Gateway High School. So go support our students, our Forbes graduates.
Listen again.
What?
That's my only update.
Oh, sorry. What was in here? Sorry.
You're ruining it.
Stephanie will tell you more about that. I'm very excited to want to mention it again. Stay tuned. American Legion Awards for 8th grade will be on the 16th. Senior awards were on the 7th, last week at the Oaks. It's a star-studded event from what I could see. The 22nd Underclassmen Awards will be at 10th Street. And the 29th 7th grade orientation for parents and students. Finals will be held May 27th through 29th, and senior grades are due on the 30th at noon. Senior breakfast and graduation practice will be on 6/2, and finally, graduation on 6/5 at the field. Everyone be there and bring your makeup. End of report.
It's not gonna rain.
It is not going to rain.
It's not going to rain.
All right, safety?
I think this is the same report as last month, because the last time we met was April 10th, so we're gonna meet again, this coming Thursday, yeah, the 15th, we're gonna meet again. But there were no reports last month, so I imagine we're gonna talk about power outages and trees and, but we'll see. That's it.
All right, thank you. Policy, anything?
No.
No?
Student life.
Student life. Oh, sorry,
Don't
student life.
Since we're Freudian, so.
Well, I don't have the student life report through Van Antonio.
It's on. Would you like to,
Yeah.
come on, Roger, we'd love
It's
when
on
you
there.
read it.
All right. Everybody,
Okay,
settle in.
everybody, this is the fun part. This is the fun part. The only fun part is
Settle in.
Get comfy.
There can't be that close.
Oh, there's a lot.
Oh, May
Busy
is.
time of year,
May
you know.
is crazy.
10th Street Elementary.
Fun things.
Gotcha. 10th Street Elementary had donuts with Dad on April 22nd and the 24th. Muffins with Mom is May 20th and 29th. Skip the Screens Week was great success in our house, April 28th through May 2nd. Hope everybody got to participate. Wellness initiatives, Walk and Talk Wednesdays, weather permitting. Teachers take students on short walks through the neighborhood to encourage movement and face-to-face conversation. I love that. Elementary music performances, chorus concert was on May 6th. Elementary band concert is scheduled for May 15th. For field trips, first grade did Beechwood Farms, second grade at Byam Theater, third grade the Kerr Museum, sixth grade explored the Torred Mine. No word on fourth or fifth. Year-end parenting events, May 16th, second grade, it's for parents to go and enjoy. May 16th, the second grade vocabulary parade. May 22nd, the kindergarten program. No date here, I guess just late May, all of late May. Fifth grade Battle of the Books. May 29th, the fourth grade U.S. States program, and June 4th, the first grade author show. Field day on June 2nd. SWPBIS Carnival on the June 3rd, last day of school, and 6th grade clap out on the 5th. Now, well, all I have, oh, there we go. Sorry, y'all. Werner band concert May 7th, orchestra concert May 15th. Werner is hosting another VIP breakfast on either May 22nd or 23rd. Field day is May 30th, and the kindergarten hooray is June 3rd at 2 p.m.
We need more hooray.
Hooray day! We need more hooray days. Sorry, y'all, I'm trying to load the high school here. It's so long going to load. There we go. Okay. Junior, senior high school. Art Club will wrap up the year with creating more mini art for the free little art gallery to prepare for the ribbon cutting during the art show on May 14th from 6 to 7:30 in the high school cafeteria. Bible Club had to cancel a bus trip to the National Day of Prayer on the 1st due to uncertainty with traveling and school being canceled. 2 more fabulous pastors are visiting, and that will end this year's club. Cultures and French Club had their last field trips to the art museum where they viewed different types of impressionist art and they created their own. Gaming Club meets regularly. Gay Straight Alliance have met and largely discussed how things are going for the kids in GSA and concerns about developments for the LGBTQ plus rights in the current political climate. While not perfect, the kids do reflect that they feel protected and supported by the staff, and problems within the student population seem to be relatively few and keep improving. That is what we like to hear. Gifted programs, academic games nationals in DC. 3 students attended the National Academic Games in DC on April 25th. Carter Baldwin and Corbin Cooper competed in the math game equations, with Carter finishing in the top 50 out of 116 students, and Corbin finishing in 40th. Rocco Brown competed in the current events competition and led the way with a 20th place finish out of 130 students. Congratulations.
Ready to go.
Congratulations. History Club Model UN ended its season at Westminster in early April. The team secured 50 awards for the 3rd straight year. History Club, 4 groups finished in the top 6 in PA in the National History Day state finals. 6 students, 1 exhibit group, and 1 performance group will be heading to DC in June to compete in national finals. Good luck and congrats. Inclusive Leaders Club has wrapped up everything with the carnival and the race. Over $2,000 was raised, which will go to support next year's events. Student Store is working on 1 more shirt order made by the PTO of 70 shirts and will deliver this week to high school students and staff. For the junior class, prom was great. Kids had fun. Food was great. Everybody had a blast. Love to hear that. Junior High Student Council is finishing the year strong with final Spirit Days, Junior High Olympics, and sending 8th grade students to the high school. Students are working to encourage student spirit and community with these fun end-of-the-year activities. Wrapped up PSSA testing and the encouragement poster project, where each homer made posters with encouraging quotes. The Key Club's end-of-year event will be the Mess Fest on May 21st from 6 to 8, which will help raise money to build wells in Africa with the Thirst Project. NHS students need to submit their 10 volunteer hours, needed to submit them by Friday to stay in good standings with NHS. PJAS, Academy of Science, is practicing and preparing for the state PJAS competition, which will be held on May 19th at Penn State and State College. 9 students will be attending. Good luck to all. Sad, nothing planned for the end of the year. The mock crash was canceled due to the storm, unfortunately. Senior class, senior 523, on May 23rd, Senior Olympics and Cookout, meeting with the seniors. Senior breakfast is also planned out today. Breakfast to be held at graduation practice on the 2nd of June. Spanish Club, members of the Spanish Club went to the University of Pittsburgh Center for Latin American Students, where they learned lessons about Spanish-speaking countries and other countries in Latin America. Student Council are currently collaborating to finalize the theme for next year's homecoming events. In addition, in the process of finalizing the official ballot for executive officer elections. Next, the most recent meeting was May 7th, finalizing homecoming theme and election procedures. Officer elections were to be held today. And yearbook sales wrapped up. An extension was given from the original date of 4/30 because of storm-related issues. We had a good year, and we can't wait to submit to the publisher. Distribution will occur at the beginning of 25-26 school year. Okay. And that is the student life update. Any favorites? Any call-outs? Anybody?
Nothing.
Redo the high school junior high, please, one more time.
It was fun, right?
The SBA, nothing, since Antonio's off. The communications.
Right. Well, many items have already been mentioned in student life, so I'll just try to keep this brief. We have been busy attending and photographing all of the various events, especially the promenade and prom, as well as baseball senior recognition, the junior-senior high chorus concert, and these have been added to either social media channels or the homepage slideshow. There will be many more events documented coming up. Also added a story about the new Riverview girls soccer coach. She actually met with the team today to do a little intro to get to know them, which was great. So we've generated about 30 posts on the Facebook page, and some also go to Twitter, including board of meeting announcements, prom and promenade photos, the Gene Kelly Award nominations, baseball senior recognition, junior senior high wellness fair, National Teacher Appreciation Week, and National School Nurses Week. And again, some things are also duplicated on the website or in one place or several. Always updating the website for the district as well as all the school pages and athletics pages. Several stories were added to the news from Riverview, including Riverview graduate works lands on the front page of the Washington Post. Students help lunch remake learning days. Retired Riverview teacher and coach joins AK Valley Sports Hall of Fame. And junior senior high earns the Jane Kelly nominations and semifinals honors for Something Rotten. And I believe those are the end of the month of the actual awards. So we've been busy just communicating all the great stuff that's going on, and we'll continue to do so in the last couple weeks stretch here at the end of the year.
Great, thank you.
So I don't have a lot. There is a certificate ceremony tomorrow. I know a few of our seniors will be graduating. I know Kiko Donato, Natalia, she's sitting behind this lovely lady. Who else are seniors graduating tomorrow? Do you know? You, sir?
Wednesday.
What are you graduating for?
Auto technology.
Awesome, I'll see you
It's
tomorrow.
Wednesday, right? Isn't it Wednesday?
Or
It's
Wednesday,
yeah.
sorry,
It's
Wednesday at 7 at Gateway. So congratulations to you guys and to everybody at Ford. And other than that, we passed our budget, which you guys passed, so thank you.
Very good. Bridget, legislative.
Okay. It's that time of year in Harrisburg. So House Labor and Industry Committee passed the prevailing wage. It's basically the same bill that didn't make it through over the finish line from last year. House Health Committee passed eliminating the MI screenings, which is fine. Some of the details are puzzling to me. Appropriations Committee, unemployment compensation eligibility for ESPs. So basically the ESPs would be able to receive unemployment during the summer months. House Education Committee is holding 3 separate informational hearings across the state on cyber charters. 2 of these have, all 3 have occurred at this point. PSBA testified May 8th. I linked the website that has the recording of all 3 testimonies. House Bill 17 requiring instruction in cursive handwriting. I don't have anything to say about that.
Did I get it right?
Yeah, you did. Anyway. House Bill 191, automated external defibrillator availability. Yet again, another unfunded mandate. If it passes, that we would have to have AEDs, not only inside the school, but at the field for any athletic or school-related events. Yeah, McAndrew is gonna have a really great time when I go to his office next week.
It's a good idea if they want to pay for it.
No, it's unfunded. They're not gonna give us any money to pay for the $15,000 AED. House Bill 1326, increasing efficiency and transparency in school transportation, which would allow for, no, I'm not kidding, Miss Lupert.
Isn't it already?
We would be able to put GPS tracking systems on the buses. I hope that my silence says everything that everybody needs to know. This is a new one. I haven't seen this previously. Apparently they did co-sponsoring memos in the House. I haven't seen this I don't know. I have to find out if this is a new thing. It's basically like a prequel to the bill. I haven't seen that before, it's fine.
As per Bridget, this is okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. So cyber charter school reform, requiring, updated charter school law that requires transparency and accountability, etc. I mean, the House is pro-public ed controlled. I don't see this making it through the Senate regardless, so. Increasing efficiency and transparency in school transportation. This is another, like, basically it's an effort to streamline the required reporting by school districts. We'll see what it looks like in the end. Teacher certification fees, this one is good. It lowers the certification fee that you have to pay to PDE to no more than $50, which, you know, making that somewhat more affordable. I don't even remember what I paid. I don't want to look it up. It'll probably make me depressed. So, because you also have to pay it again when you get your level 2 certificate. Or if you want to add anything to your certificate, you have to pay a fee for that administrative cost. Secondary career certification basically changes from 3 years to 5 years, where maybe you're in like a mid-career change. You have like, you've been like a history professor or done something professionally and you want to then teach that. It helps to extend the time. Professional development, just basically to facilitate the lowering of the bar in case maybe you let your certificate like lapse. You would be able to, instead of, you know, you have to do 900 hours of professional development, making it a little bit more reasonable so that you can get your certification back, since we are going to continue to have a, you know, teacher shortage as the years go by. This next one is interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. It's lowering the required GPA from 3.0 to 2.8 in undergrad. So in order to like facilitate the rest of your programming for your major of any school, teaching or otherwise, you generally have a GPA threshold you have to meet. So this is lowering that state standard of 3.0 to 2.8. I don't know that I love it, but I have to look at more information.
They do.
Yeah. So State Senate Education Committee, the first one, of course, is a voucher bill to just create like another pathway for pulling money out of our public schools. Senate Bill 127, Holocaust education, requiring instruction in the Holocaust, genocide, and human rights violations, and requiring schools to post the curriculum online. That's where they lose me, requiring it to be online, because it costs us money to do those things. Not that we don't want it to be available to the public, but we have to then house that information and pay for it to be housed. Senate Bill 310, Universal FAFSA, which is like a mouthful. This would create a new graduation requirement. So in theory, it sounds like really great, but the FAFSA, it's pretty easy to, I've done it 5 times in the last couple of years, so it's not that hard. Yeah, I mean, you click a button to pull your tax records over, so it's much less cumbersome than it was back when I did it the first time, which was like, you know, the other day. Senate Bill 246, weapons on school campuses notification, which would require schools to notify parents and educators when anyone is found to be in possession of a weapon on school grounds under any circumstances. Yeah, I don't know. I need to read that one because I'm curious. Senate Bill 700, literacy achievement for PA students. This one was around last year. It's like we have to use an evidence-based curriculum, as if we wouldn't use an evidence-based curriculum. And then, as I referenced before, PSBA did testify in front of the House Education Committee on May 8th. There's a link to watch that if you need like something to do. How about it? And then PSBA is doing their legislative platform for 26. I have linked their 2025 platform, and there's an email that you can send if you want to, you know, send any inquiries, or if anyone has any ideas, I can pass them to Antonio. Send them on, and that's all I have.
Oh, many thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Marion?
Quick one. Our voting meeting didn't have quorum, so we didn't have meeting in April, technically. Graduation is on Tuesday, June 3rd at 7 p.m. I believe it's at the school, right? Or is it, yeah, it's at the school. So if anybody would like to attend, Tuesday, June 3rd, 7 p.m. And they're just, right now, they're investigating replacing one or both of the chiller units for the AC. Cost and timing are the main concern. They've got a few options they're looking at. So I'll report when I have anything at this point, but yeah, just something that we are keeping an eye on. That's it for Easter.
Solicitors report?
I have nothing new to report other than the items that were addressed during the agenda.
Thank you. We did have an executive meeting held prior to the meeting on May 5th to discuss the RESPA negotiation contract. And that should be it. Do I have the motion to adjourn?
I will make that motion.
I'll second it.
Second.
Give it to Siri.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Jim and Sydney. We need a signature for a sheet.
No, we can have this all in.